Hello, welcome back to another episode of What's New Mama podcast. We are your hosts, Giselle and
Amy.
Amy. So last episode we spoke about how your relationship with your spouse, your partner, changes once you bring baby back home, like post baby. And we wanted to talk about, I guess, this episode, how the other relationships in your life do change, or for the I don't know, some people for me, correction, for me, they changed my friendships, and just like my what's the word when people, they're not really friends, they're more
acquaintances,
like associates, acquaintances. Yeah, all of that changed because you just don't have the time that you used to. And also, I don't know about you, well, no, I do, because you told me you didn't go through it, but with my postpartum depression, all that stuff, I didn't feel like I could talk to anybody about that, right? So like when I would get invited to things, I really wanted to go and be there, but I mentally did not have the energy to partake in these events and pretend like I was okay. So I would say let's try to focus on that. And also that includes family too, like how I also couldn't really talk to some of my family members about it because they were just kind of like, "Oh, stop acting crazy," like, para si no te la loca, like. And so, that also made me shut off and like back away from certain people because I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel emotionally safe, mentally safe to say, "Hey, this is what I'm going through." Because at the glimpse of me, I guess, like saying this is what's happening to me post baby, I was met with, "Oh, why? Like, why?" And it was met with like judgment. And I understand that not everybody's going to get it, but I think it's important to, if you have somebody around you that is clearly reaching out to you for help or to talk to you about certain things, I think it's important to be sensitive to those things, right?
Listen. I think that's important.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, these people were like dismissing you, but I think it's like a blessing in disguise too. Like, all right, well, if this is what you're about and you don't want to help me or you think I'm crazy, then bye.
Yeah. No, it's true. Because it saved me the trouble of having to entertain one more person when I myself was exhausted, right? But I have those pillars of friends around me that I consider my family. Like, they know who they are. Like, those are the people that went out of the way, that drove from freaking Jersey all the way across state lines to come and see me and the baby, even if it was that one time, even if it was just a couple of times or whatever it was, to drop off something. That meant the world to me because at the time it was, I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It was hard enough to get up to shower. It was hard enough to get up to like do anything, right? So I look at that and I'm like, those are true friends. Those are true family members. Those are true people that you want to keep around you. But it goes both ways, right? So I have to also put in energy and time into those relationships, and I try to. And I'm the type of friend that, like, I'll randomly text you like, "Hey, I just thought about you. Like, how are you? Hope everything's okay. Hope you have a great day today." And I used to do it more often before than now, and I'm aware of that. But now I feel like I don't want to bother people. Like, I feel like I don't want to bother anybody because everybody has their own stuff going on. But then I talk myself out of that too, because I'm like, I wouldn't complain if somebody just randomly texts me, "Hey, thought about you. Hope you have a great day today." I think that's a nice gesture, right? And I don't expect a response back. Like, that's not why I do it. I do it because I feel like you have to invest in those relationships around you in order to have them grow with you. Because truth is, you can grow apart from friends, family members, your spouse, your partner, and that's okay too, right? Because you change as a person, and it's totally fine to outgrow friendships. I know you and I have spoken about that, how I've had childhood friends that, since middle school, like, I've known them, and at some point in life, we just kind of agreed to separate because you're into this thing and I'm over here into this thing. And it's totally fine, But I think becoming a mother really changed it for me, because there were certain friends that would get upset because I couldn't make it to like the party they were having downtown, the birthday dinner they were having
Or at a club.
downtown, because at a club or something, but I'm like still in my postpartum
Yeah.
diaper, like, you know, and I'm sorry I can't make it, but you know, I'll send them a gift card or something. But in my mind, if somebody were to do that to me, I would understand. I'm like, oh, I get it. Like, you're healing, you're in a new realm of things. Like, let me know when you have time. Maybe I can come over. That was another thing that I came across. I don't know if you had that, but I had some friends that'll be like, yeah, come over whenever you want. Like, my house is open. I would love to have you over, because I know that my mental state at the time, I needed somebody to like come and just like take me out of that for a second. Even though I know sometimes like, oh, I got to clean the house, I got to make it nice. But I know that true friends, they don't care about that. You can have a mess there. They would be the ones to help you. Like, you need me to do the put up the laundry or whatever it is, right? Not that I would want them to do that. I would just want them to sit with me and talk
Like a
to me and
distraction,
distract me. Right. But there were friends that I kind of, which bothered me up until like, I would say like a couple of months ago, like a few months ago, that I invited a couple of times to come over. Like, hey, let me know when you're free, but I don't want to be pushy either. I'm like, hey, like, you can come over. This is my address. We can plan, like, I have a pool. We can barbecue. We can like do all these things and just hang out. Okay, cool. I'll let you know. Still to this
Still
day.
waiting.
Never heard. Yeah. And these were people I also invited to like Derek's birthday party, like his first birthday and things like that. Didn't show up. Like, you know, and it's like, fine, you don't want to go to a kid's party. That's fine. But I still wanted to see you. Like, I wanted to hang out with you. And you told me you wanted to come over. But then this also comes back to the childhood trauma of, is that me being upset at this one person, or is that me reliving one way or another what my dad used to do to me, that he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to come over. And then he would have me waiting all day and like never show up. Right. And I would never hear from him until like a week later or whatever. And it's like, oh, well, that's just how your dad is. Like, that's how it was. So now I've learned that when I'm quick to say like, oh, I don't need this person. I don't need this person because they never showed up when I thought when I needed them or when I wanted them to. That's obviously stemming from that childhood experience that I had. Yeah. And so now I'm just like, whatever. We're friends from a distance. I'm going to support you. I'm going to like all your pictures on Instagram. You start your business. Yep. I'm going to be rooting for you no matter what. But at least I know that I don't feel as obligated to invest in that friendship or that companionship as much as I used to, because I don't feel like you're putting in equal parts. So I think it's okay that we just kind of grew apart and accept that, because we're in different stages, you know? Like, we used to talk about like the dating apps, and we used to talk about, you know, like the crazy dates we would be on. Or for me, my friends always joke, they would be like, oh, Giselle would be online at Whole Foods and meet some guy there, and then they'd end up having like a cute little romantic love story for a couple of months or whatever. And then she would get tired of him, and then she would say bye, you know? But we would laugh and bond over those things and have brunch dates and all of that. And I miss that. Not the dating other people. I miss the, I miss the having like, hey, like, let's meet up real quick. Let's go get some food or whatever it is. And I know it's harder. I know like a lot of my friends, they have kids and they're married or whatever it might be. We all moved into different places. But I think what keeps us going and invested is the fact that we know that when we do talk, when we do catch up, whether it's a FaceTime call or just a regular phone call. Yes, we still do regular phone calls. It's like you pick up right where you left off. And I think that's a true friendship. You don't need to send gifts. You don't need to buy things or go out to dinner. Having that quality conversation when you're like, oh man, I really needed that. I didn't think that I was missing that as much until I actually got to talk to you. That was really nice. And I have like 4 or 5 friends that I have in that circle that I can easily pick up the phone. They may not answer the first time, but they'll call me back when they have time. And vice versa. Like, oh shoot, I missed your call, or like I missed your text and I thought I responded. But when you actually connect, it's like, oh man, like this is that feeling of, I know I can count on you. I know that this is who we are, like as friends, family, like I get it. But it is different. It is a different relationship. They're friends that like I look at and I'm like, I miss you, but I know it's not the same. And I know you were telling me earlier about similar.
You have better luck with friends. Maybe I had really bad luck with choosing my friends, because I'm like, I can count maybe 1 or 2, 3, maybe girls that I'm actually like really close with, that I still talk to, that we'll pick up. And, you know, I have a friend that's in Texas and we'll like randomly text each other. Like,
Texas?
Yeah, she just moved like maybe 1.5 years ago now down there. And she'll text me randomly like, hey, I'm thinking about you, I miss you. And then like whenever I get back to her, it's like we'll pick up wherever we left off and we'll just catch up, or you know, we'll call each other, you know, do that, which is great. And she's a friend that I've had since college, actually, because we used to like the same guy.
Wow.
But yeah.
So who ended up with the guy,
I don't think neither one of us did, because I think he tried to play us both. I think. I don't even remember that. Like he was like.
So that's where the friendship started.
I think it was like,
you guys realized he was trying to play you.
He was trying to pursue me, and I was like, wait a second, aren't you with her? Like it was just like you kind of that situation. Gotcha. I was like, huh? No. So yeah, and then we became friends, and wow, we even took classes together and everything. We go way back, and we got pregnant at around the same time. So we had like, she went into labor 2 weeks, I think, before I did, 2-3 weeks. Okay. So first time. Yeah. With our first. And, she was like, I remember she was like, it's time or whatever. And we were like talking, and as soon as she gave birth, she called me to tell me about her experience. So it was great. So that was cool.
That's good.
And then just, I have people that I do catch up with from like elementary school, and it's like we pick up like in no time has passed whatsoever. But then there's people that I've had as friends, and it's like even our relationships changed as soon as I got married, which is strange. I don't know what I did. I was telling you, I'm like, they cut me off. So it was just like, maybe I did something wrong. And I'm like, okay. I mean, it hurt at the time. I would see Facebook photos of things happening in their lives. And I was just like, oh, well, why wasn't I invited? Like, it was strange, because it was like, you know, I just talked to you like maybe a couple months ago. What happened? And then
they ghosted you. They didn't give you a reason.
I found out, it was like, wait a second, I got blocked. So it was just like, oh, okay, I guess I must have offended you in some way. And I was just like, you know what? Okay. I took it as face value, because I was like, if you're blocking me, then what's the point? Like, why am I going to reach out to you so you can say something and like call me out of my name? Like, I don't want to get into an argument with you. I want to remember the nice things and the nice stories that I have about you. That's how I approach it. So I was just like, that's right. Because you were like, didn't you ask them? And I was like, you
didn't want to know? Like,
not really, because whatever it is, I mean, I guess I'll do it again and I'll learn the hard way from someone else. But like, I'm pretty sure I didn't do anything. It was probably something stupid. Like, I didn't go to the birthday party because I was coming home from a vacation. And I think back about this, and I was telling my sister, I was like, I think she's just mad because I didn't go to her birthday party. And it's like, I was coming home from vacation the exact same day as the party. Who the hell has the energy to just keep driving and going? And it was like a road trip, so we were driving. I'm like, and I would tell my sister, I was like, I think she got mad because of that. I was like, it can't be because I didn't pay for her taxi during this other time, because I'm like, I'm not your fucking wallet. Right. Like, hello, I know I make more money than you did at the time, but I'm not here to pay for everybody's stuff.
Well, it's interesting because like I once heard, because I'm very much the type of person that's like, I don't ever want to be the bad person in anybody's story. Like, and I'm sure we can stem that back to something in childhood where I just always want to be the person to help and be positive and whatever. But as an adult, I came across the saying that it doesn't matter how nice or sweet or good you are as a person, you're gonna be a villain in somebody's story. Like, it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter the intention. The perception is another thing. Your intention is one thing, perception is another. So you could have easily done something innocently, and they could have taken it as you slighted them.
I have no idea, but I'm just, till this day, it's just like I was telling you, I was like, I just take it for face value, because like I said, I don't want to get into an argument. I want to remember the nice things, because we did have a lot of funny stories. I could tell you we used to get into a lot of trouble when we were all together. So it's nice to remember it that way. And I try to think about it the positive way. So.
Yeah. See, it's just me, the hopeless romantic, that's like, well, maybe if you guys talk and figure it out together, you guys will be friends again. But I also know you can't force situations.
And then like I think about it's been, I don't know, maybe 6 years now since that happened, 6-7 years.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't.
The time has passed.
Have I really missed them that much? You know, like from where I've been, it's like I've had other things to fill that void. Like me and my sister, we grew pretty close. Yeah.
Closer.
So it's like she actually moved like 10 minutes away from me. So it's like she's always here, in and out with the kids. She would, when I was pregnant, she would come and like get me stuff. Cheesecake, like I told you, cheesecake was my thing.
Yeah. Cheesecake.
Cheesecake. She'd come and she'd sanitize herself. She would COVID test herself to make sure that she wasn't infected, because she's a teacher. So she was always around kids all day and stuff. So our relationship changed for the better, I want to say, because we used to always fight a lot. Before that. Yeah. My mom, I think I understand her more now, like that I'm a mom. It's like I see where she came from, but I'm also like, maybe I shouldn't do things this way. Like, I'm not gonna beat the shit out of my kids.
right.
But I do see where she came from, and I understand her more, because I see that she had depression. She's postpartum depression. She had that. No one like even give a shit about her. Like, she wouldn't even talk about it, I'm sure. Like, but now, like, looking back and even talking with my older sister, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You know? And even my relationship with my older sister, it wasn't like the best, and it's still not like where I want it to be. But we talk, and it's like, oh, you know, this is how I treat my children. And it was like, we talk and we see that we have a lot of similarities now on how we want to raise our kids. So it's like, whatever crap we had going on in the background, like years ago, because
it's faded.
I'm telling you, when I was pregnant the first time, I did not want to see her. I was like, I didn't even want her to touch my belly for like pictures and stuff. When she did my baby shower, and I was just like, why? Why are you doing a baby shower for me? Like, I was appreciative, but it was just like, you're drama. I don't want that. It was with her and my mom. It was like drama. I was just like, I don't want that. But whatever happened back then, it's like, it kind of simmered down. I kind of pushed it back. I'm just like, whatever. It's old stuff.
You've created boundaries, and you now have the new relationship with her.
Which is great, because now she's, you know, she stays in her lane, where she, you know, kind of like she knows where she should not cross the line. So that relationship changed for me as well, but for the better, I would say. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. And then I know you're still friends with some of your old coworkers.
Oh, yeah. They were great. Like, a lot of them, it's funny because we did during COVID, we did my baby shower on Zoom.
Zoom.
And you came. You did. Was great.
Yeah, we did different parts of it.
And it was funny because like I realized, oh, okay, the people that actually showed up, I was like, oh, you know, you guys are, you know, the real deal. I made good friends, you know, with my coworkers, the few people that actually like showed up on the Zoom, which was great. It was nice. It was just nice to see those people's faces, and I still talk to them, and I have group chats with some of them, and you know, we catch up. It might not be like every day, but we like send each other photos of the kids. One of my recent friends, he lives actually in Connecticut. He had a baby like a couple of months ago, actually. Right? She's like 8 or 9 months, I think. No, am I wrong? I don't know. What he's probably gonna watch this and be like, no, Amy, no. But yeah, no, like he's had his first child, and he's like, you know, sending me stuff, asking me questions. So that relationship changed as well, which is nice.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
nice.
I guess whatever friendship I've lost, I've made up with new people, and other thoughts are coming in. Other people are sharing their stories with me, and I think it's made me a better person in the end.
Yeah, because you're growing, you're evolving, and you're finding new things about yourself every time you welcome a new person in, or every time you evolve with this other person. And that's the thing. It's like, how much of it did you really lose, right? Like when you do separate from a friend, I don't think you really lose much. You just let go of an older version of you. And I don't think this is a bad thing. I've even had, and I told you, I've had friends that, like, this one girl in particular, I love her dearly. Like, and I always will. And I told you that I'm like, I'm always here for you. But like, I remember I wasn't in a relationship, but I was like dating at the time. And she's the type that she was like, if we ever met up or we ever did anything, I had to go to her, or like somewhere close to her, beneficial to her. And I'm like, but I work full time and I'm exhausted. And like, I was going to the gym and like doing all these things, right? I just felt like it wasn't halfway. And then her life became whoever she was with. Like whatever, which I understand. Like, that's your boyfriend. That's like your life. Then I totally get it. But don't be upset with me if I'm like, listen, I made plans that day. Like, I can't cancel just because you're available.
And
it became like that type of, right. Like, it was like, because she was available that one time, I had to drop my plans to fit. Right. And so it was kind of like that relationship. But I just remember like messaging her, like a long text. And I was like, listen, I care for you deeply. I'm very happy for you and everything. But I just wanted to let you know that I'm not as invested in this friendship as I used to be. And I think that it's good for me to tell you and to let you know where I stand on this, because I just don't want you to feel the shift and then question why. Right. Because I don't want to be the bad guy. I don't want her to be like, oh, why is she changing on me? So I wanted to just explain it. Right. And it was coming from a place of, I was hurt and I just wanted to set a boundary so that you live your life, I live my life, but I'm not going to give more than what I'm getting. Right. In that sense. And her response to me was, well, clearly something changed with you because it's not me.
Okay, then.
And all this stuff. And I was just like, okay.
Wow.
But then we met, like, we still follow each other on Instagram. We support each other because none of that changed. The love is there. But it's just, we're in different places, right? And that's fine. And I just remember we met up like 2 years after that or so. And we like spoke, and when we spoke, it was like no time had passed. But we understand that it's not the same.
Just because you caught up doesn't mean you're going to continue to. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and like we still talk now, and I'm like, I love you, and like she has kids. I obviously have a son, and we'll talk about little things like that. And I'm like, oh, like how's it going, and all of that. But we know it's not the same.
I have something similar,
but that's okay. And I think
it just shows your emotional maturity, though, that you actually reached out and was like, listen, it's just not working for me. Like almost breaking up with her, right?
But it's tough like, breaking up with friends.
It's great. At least you got broken up with.
Yeah, not ghost. Well, yeah.
Nah, I'm just gonna. I've been ghosted before. That's it. No more.
Yeah, I've been ghosted by guys before, and it's just not pleasant. Like, it's not pleasant. And it's so weird, but that I've always been the type of person that I know I would never want to have that in my brain. Well, why? I wonder what happened. I thought we were good. And I'm like, this is going to be a very uncomfortable, awkward conversation, but I'd rather get it out of the way and know that she doesn't have to wonder what happened, even if she thinks it was me and not her and whatever it is. I don't care about the blame part. I just know that I said my piece, and that's that. I'm okay with that. But it still bothered me, obviously, because it hurt. Like it hurt to lose that friendship of what it used to be. Right. But I know that there was no going back. Now having a baby, it is different. But like I have this one friend, her name is Jen. I love her so much. But Jen tries, like she'll come and she'll stay over. Like I told you, we just bought a place and we're moving out to the new place. I have an extra room and I'm like, oh, I'm going to get a bed there for Jen. Like I plan on these things so that if she wants to stay over, she can stay over. And like Tom and I plan on these things. Oh yeah, like Jen can stay here and whatever. And that's just how much I love her. She's a part of my life. But she is in a different stage. Like I talked to her, I was like, how are the dating apps going?
God,
and how are all of these things? And, you know, her work-life balance. And I hear her stories about dating and like we'll laugh about it. And like I'll give her advice on things. And she's the one that she's like, yeah, but you don't know because you're always like the hopeless romantic that meets somebody at Whole Foods and it just works out for you. And
we should get her together with my sister because she says the exact same thing.
We should. We'll do a little thing. But the point is, like, that's a friendship that we are in two very completely different places in life, but we invest in each other. Like I'll randomly like text her and we'll send each other, like she'll send me TikToks. I'm not on TikTok, but I'll send her Instagram things and she's not on Instagram. And we'll like, you know, we'll send, like she's really big into makeup. I'm really big into skincare. So like we'll swap suggestions and things and it just works. But then we'll randomly call each other and we'll spend 2 hours on the phone. Like a regular phone call, not even a FaceTime, you know, and it just works. And I don't know where every major moment within the past 7 years of my life, my graduation, baby shower, wedding, everything, the terrible moments, even from before that, when I was in an abusive relationship, that I would call her. Like I left the guy's house because like we just had a physical altercation and I had to leave and I'm crying and she's like, come to my house. Like, are you okay? Like she's been there through all these different stages. And I'm just like, I don't see my life without her, no matter what happens. Right. And that's one of those friendships that we're very different in the way we think. Like she'll say something. I'm like, Jen, no. And she's like, what? I don't understand, you know, but it just works. And I think that's a testament to like, if you want something to work, you want a relationship to work and it's mutual and you guys are both willing to put the energy and time into it.
It works. Yeah, it works, which is great. See?
Doesn't matter the personality differences.
Or where you are in life.
Yeah. And it's so like whenever we do hang out, like we're the type we'll hold arms. Like we'll walk down the street like sisters, you know, and she has a sister. But like we'll walk down the street like that. We'll get on the subway and like we'll share headphones and we'll like lean into each other. And it's just that kind of friendship that it just, I don't know. I would imagine that would be like if I had a sister. You know? But it's just nice. I love her. And I have a lot of different friends. I just thought of Jen because we're in different places in life. Like I have Giselle, that's also a really good friend of mine. Like beyond that, she's like my sister, but we're so similar in the way that we think in different stages, motherhood, how we are. So like it's a smoother parallel, right? But I think it takes a lot more effort when you have the friends that you're in different stages. Yeah. But like with Giselle, like she invited me to her daughter's birthday party, but I couldn't. It was in Staten Island. I was like, you know, I don't know what happened, but something happened here where we would have to leave at like 7 a.m. to get there on time. Because it was like at 11.
Long drive.
Yeah. And also it was like a skating rink. Derek isn't old enough to do that. It would, you know, and it was like, she's like, listen, I understand if you can't go, but I'm still of the type that I'm like, oh, I don't want to be the one to not go to your kid's birthday party. But she's like, no, I get it. We'll just do something else. Don't worry about it. But I'll still send a gift, right? And I'll still do that. But I'm like, listen, I'll go over to your house and we'll just hang out in your house
some other time. Yeah.
And have that. Yeah. So she's on tour right now, so I can't go. But like when she gets back, we'll plan a little get together at her house. And then it just works. And I think that's what matters, because we have busy lives. She knows I have a full-time job, and then she's like, I don't want to bother you during the week, which is during the week she's free.
Yeah.
right? Because the kids are in school, and she's like, we can meet up for lunch, and I'm like, I
I'm
can't.
working.
I have to work. So, but we make time. We'll call each other when we have a break, and we'll talk. And I think that's what keeps it. And we talk about that too, because it is hard with kids.
You got to schedule around them. Even what if one day they just don't wake up feeling well, and it's like, okay, we got to move it to another day. Yeah. You got to like schedule months in advance.
Yeah. Yeah. But even having that, right? Like when your kids are sick, and you and I talk about that too, like it sucks. And like having somebody that you can text and be like, oh my God, they're sick, they got the stomach bug that's going around, all that. And having somebody else on the other end say, oh man, I understand, that sucks. That's it. That's little things like that, I think, build for stronger relationship and friendship, as opposed to somebody saying, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or like,
okay.
You know, just not having any type of, I don't know what the word is,
sympathy
or like sentiment or
like reaction to it that you want to hear.
Reaction to it. Like they're just thinking of the next thing to say as opposed to actually listening and trying to offer some sort of sentiment towards the situation. But I look at all that stuff and I'm like, my main core friends, I can name them all right now. And they've been there for over a decade. And I'm very fortunate and grateful that I have that, because some people have family that they're like that with. I don't. Right. So like a bloodline relative, these core friends of mine are my family, and none of them are blood related. And so I grew up with kind of investing in the people around me, because I felt that that's what's going to foster that connection, because I didn't have that. And so I would just treat other people how I would want them to treat me. It's not easy, because you are tired, and sometimes you're like, oh man, okay, let me see what they're up to. Like you grab your phone and you're like, let me just see. And you don't expect it to turn into a full on conversation, but then you're glad when it's over, you're glad it did. You're glad they picked up. You're glad that you picked up. And you're like, oh man, I missed that person. And I didn't realize this much. And I think that's important to have too. Like whether it's your sister or an actual, like, or your not bloodline related friends or whatever, to have outside of your relationship, because there's certain things you can share and joke around with them that you may not want to with your spouse. You may not want to, like, it's just different, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're definitely much better than I am, because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I'm really lazy. Like, I just don't want to deal with people. So I keep everyone, I guess you would say that I keep my circle really small. I don't like, I don't know, I just don't like opening up to people.
Well, good thing you're doing a podcast about your personal stuff.
I know. People are probably like, damn, this girl sucks ass, bro.
No.
I'm just like I'm really lazy about everything.
No,
it's
what I
just
mean
like
is
the thought about having to get dressed to go somewhere, and it's like to put the energy to laugh and smile and talk about something. It's just sometimes I'm not having it.
You know what's funny? I'm the opposite. I look forward to, I'm like, oh, I get to wear my dresses and my skirts.
It takes me like,
blah, blah, blah.
I'm that person where it's like, I'll say yes. And then like when I'm already there, I'm just like, damn, why did I say yes? Why? And I don't know if it's because I'm an introvert. I'm not an extrovert. I don't like talking about myself. And see, you got me to do the podcast, but I'm just like, it's just, I think it's a part of the introvert of me that I'm just like, I don't want to be out there. I don't like being the center of attention. I don't like wanting to put myself out there. It's just, I'm very closed off in general as a person. And if you, like you now are getting to know me, and how long was that? I've been married to your brother for like
12 years, 14 years.
Now is that we're actually talking to each other in a more depth than we normally did, right? Because it's usually hi and bye for us. Yeah. Or
in your case, you would ask me, you're like, oh, so who are you dating
like,
now?
What's going on with you? Because he was like, what the hell am I going to offer you? Like, I was with your brother already. Like, no, there's no fun stories other than like telling you some ladies hitting on your brother in front of me.
But see, okay, so a couple of things there. I'm still like you. I'm an introvert, believe it or not, even though people don't think so. But I am. I dread Like the day of, when I wake up, I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta go to this thing. Why did I agree to that? But then I think of, ooh, I get to wear my dresses and I get to like put all this stuff, even though I'm still dreading it. But once I'm there, I'm happy. And the key to it that I discovered is that I stopped agreeing to plans that weren't with that inner circle of people, unless it's like a work thing that's different. But before, I would agree to things because I felt the obligation to go, and I felt like I couldn't say no. Now I'm at a point, I'm real comfortable saying no. So if I don't want to go to something, nope, sorry, I can't go. But if I do plan on something, it's usually the same circle of people: Jennifer, Lily, Jen, Neil, Sabrina. That's pretty much it. That's my that's my circle. And then, you know, like my brother's house. That's pretty much it. And so I think that helped me. But even with that, like, I didn't want to have a bridal shower. Like they threw me a bridal shower and I was like, so like caught off guard, even though I was dressed up, because I thought it was just my cousin and I that were going to go have lunch or brunch. And then Jen was going to meet us. So she was like, oh, come around. Then they surprised me and Giselle threw this whole big thing back there that I had no idea they were doing. So it's little things like that where if they would have told me that these other people were going, I would have felt like that nervousness. But because they was just going to be Pierina and Jen, because everybody else couldn't go, it was okay. So I think that that's helped me in that, because I do have social anxiety. So anybody listening, I struggle with social anxiety, but it's odd, right? Because I've been a store manager for most of my life, worked retail, and I'm in the social, like I deal with people all the time, but I still get social anxiety beforehand. Not for going to work, but going to events. I hate it. I'm the one that you catch on the side. I'm never going to be in the center. I don't want to have the spotlight on me. And I think the difference is that with the podcast, even though the spotlight is on us, it's different because it's like I'm just talking to you.
And I forget that we're actually recording.
I forget that we're actually recording because I'm just looking at you while we're recording. And then I'm also sharing things in hopes that it does help somebody else. So for me, that's worth it. Right. But yeah, no, like my relationships have changed. They're friends of mine that I randomly will message or text or will send each other like a GIF or like something on Instagram. But I miss it. I miss the friendship. I can't. Like one of them responded the other day and sent me something and she was like, oh, I miss like our random outings. Like we would randomly be like, oh, let's go hiking to Bear Mountain on a random ass like Saturday or something. I'm like, okay, cool. Pick me up, like, and we'll drive over. Like, and I miss those things, but I can't do that. Like, I can't just pick up and go. First of all, it's just Tom and I. We don't have babysitting or anybody else here to help, you know? And I'm not going to take the baby with us hiking. That's just different. We would listen to loud ass music in the car driving over there. I'm not going to do that with the baby. But I would still love to hang out with her and see her and spend time with her. But I just feel like what she wants of me is different than what I can offer right now. And it bothers me. It hurts me a little bit because I wish we could be as close as we were. But I also have to accept the fact that what she wants from me is no longer something I can give. And I have to be okay with that, you know? And she has to be okay with it, obviously. And then we decide whether or not we're going to continue trying to pursue this friendship. But it is strange when you grow up, you know. It's not like you're a kid with friendships where you feel like you're going to be friends forever.
Yeah, I know.
Right? But when you're a grown up, you know it's not a forever thing unless you want it to be. But I think
the major takeaway is when you have to put in the effort.
You have to put in the effort. In anything, in any relationship, you have to put in the effort. And you also have to be honest with each other and say, I may not be what's good for you or what you want at this point in life, and vice versa. And that's okay too. And I think that's why I wanted to talk about this stemming from the other episode when it comes to like our spouse, because one thing I don't think we really got into is the fact that whether it's 2 years, 10 years, whatever, you can grow apart from your spouse, even with putting in effort. Sometimes you put in effort, but then you realize that you guys are just two different people and you want different things, and that's okay. Like there's some people that stay together for the kids, but then they're just like arguing all the time or or they're having like side relationships and all of these things. But my parents, well, not really my dad. But you see that and you're like, what kind of quality relationship are you really having if neither one of you are equally in it? And I think having that philosophy for all relationships in my life has helped me kind of like sift through what's worth keeping, and what kind of friend I want to be. And I'm very, like, I just sent my other friend a message the other day because she met me for my lunch break and I had a meeting with a client, and the kids usually play, right? But I had to go because my meeting went a little bit longer and I felt terrible. We didn't get to spend enough time. And I messaged her and I said, listen, I'm so sorry. I appreciate you. And I just want to let you know that I appreciate you going out of your way to fit your day into my work schedule so that her son and my son can play and then we can talk and hang out. And then it just, just didn't work out that way or whatever. And I told her, I said, I hope that you feel the same, what's the word that I used? I hope you feel that I'm investing as much into you and our friendship as you are into me and our friendship. And she's like, no, like, she responds, she's like, no, of course. Like, I understand, like, you're trying to manage all of these things and you're trying to make time for me and my son to hang out with you guys. So like, she understands that certain things are out of my control, but I'm willing to try and to make that time. But it's not easy. It's not easy. And I think that's something I have to be okay with, because I'm really big on, like, I need to keep trying and I need to make sure that it all goes smooth and everybody around me knows how much I love them and care about them all the time. But sometimes it's just, I'm burnt out. Like, sometimes I'm like, I was telling you, I had food poisoning yesterday. And then, which is why I'm drinking this while we're recording, because I have cotton mouth from all the bodily fluids that
have left your body.
have left my body. Not in a good way. So yeah, no, food poisoning is not fun. But make it work.
I also want to say that it's okay to not want to do anything. I'm here from,
of course.
I'm perfectly, it's funny because I'm perfectly okay with just being friends with my sister, with you, with my kids, and like, just keeping it small, because it's just like, I feel like I waste so much energy, and sometimes people are just not there to meet my energy either. So it's like, so I just, and I'm perfectly fine. I don't find that I need that extra thing there. Maybe later on, like once the kids are all in school and I find myself at home, like, oh shit, what am I doing? Then maybe, I'll try to find myself a new set of friends or something to do something else. I don't know. Like, it's just right now in my, like, where I am at right now.
You're happy. You're content. You're happy.
I don't need the extra.
And that's fine.
Not because
that's more
I'm
than
lazy.
Fine. That's good.
But I just don't need that.
I get it.
I just don't need it.
I don't want to go out. I like to dress up and just walk around. Like, I just like to dress up for me. And Tom, everybody will say it. They'll be like, oh, we're going over to Ramel's house, my brother's house, for Thanksgiving or Christmas. And they say in the message, Giselle, do not get overdressed. We're going to be in pajamas. Like, they have to put that in the text message. And I'm like, well, you guys can dress whatever way you want to dress. But I want to put on blah, blah, blah. But I've learned, like, the last Christmas, I put on like a hoodie and leggings, But I would much rather be home. But I do, for example, we went to the city the other day. I love going to the city and going on walks. That was Jen and I's thing. Like, we would just go on strolls. I would walk up and down the city from West 4th Street all the way to like Harlem. like 125th, just walk, put my music on and just walk and enjoy. And that was my thing. Like, I love doing it. And that doesn't require anything. I would wear comfortable sneakers, be in gym gear, and do whatever I have to do. But I don't care about going to the new restaurant that just opened or getting brunch because that's the hot spot. That's not my thing at all. But that's Jen's thing. And I do it for her. And my friend Lily, they're both they're foodies and they love all that stuff. I hate it. I dread it. It angers me. But I do it because I love them and that's what they like to do. So we'll compromise. And then what happens after that? Jen and I will go on our walk. Lily will sometimes join us on the walk, but she usually has to run to go do something else. But we'll compromise. And those are things that I do with my friends. Tom doesn't like long walks like that. His knees can't handle it. He's like, his old man knees can't handle it. But I enjoy it and I do it with my friends. Like Neil is one of my real, like, it's like a brother to me. Like our parents knew each other before Neil and I knew each other, which was so weird. We found that out like in middle school when I went over to his house and they're like, wait, that's your dad? That's, you know? But him and I, like, we'll hang out. I'm like, do you want to go for a walk? He's like, a walk? I'll drive. You know, he's not. So like, I know my friends, like same thing with Giselle. She's like, I'll go for a walk, maybe to like a little hike. So I have a friend for each part of me, like to fulfill that bucket, you know, and I try to be that friend for them. I'm never going to be the one that's going to go with Jen to like a Supreme shop or like she's a sneakerhead and like into designers and things like that. I'm never going to be, she's like, oh, that's the new blah, blah, blah. I don't know. And like the new gallery for whatever. And I'm like, oh, cool. You know, tell me about it. But I'm never going to be the one, like if she has tickets to something, I'll be like, I would love to go because I know that's what you want to do, but I don't want you to waste a ticket on me when I know that you have this other friend that I know would really, really enjoy it. We could go for a walk, you know, like we could do this other thing. But that's what I've learned, that it's okay to not be that everything for that other person. And you just find your groove with that friend because that's what's going to keep it going. Like, I'm sure you and Sharon have your thing that, you know, she might be into something that you're not necessarily into. And you're like, you go do that. I'll wait for you over here, you know. But then you have your thing that you do together that brings you guys closer.
We like to eat.
We like to eat. All right.
Yeah, we like to eat.
Are you like eating or like cooking? Like, what is it? Like going out to eat?
She's into baking, but we like to go out to eat and just walk around and go shopping. We always end up at a mall.
Okay.
Mall, or we'll do like, let's go get our hair cut. Let's go do our nails, or let's go do something, you know, like that. That's what we go do.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice.
And usually she's the one driving because she likes to drive. So I'm just like, yeah, come pick me up.
You don't like to drive, right?
I don't like to drive. It's just, I get road rage pretty easily. I told you this. I don't. I'd rather just be relaxed and just watch from the sidelines if I can. So I just really hate it.
Okay. Is there anything that you feel we didn't mention from the last episode now that we're talking about relationships though?
I'm trying to think. I said, I talked about my sisters. I talked about my mom, talked about our friends. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So how about you? How about your mom? How do you see your mom now? Because I know you've had that relationship has been very...
challenging,
always butting heads.
Tension filled, turbulent.
But I think for us as females, relationship with our mothers are always like that, because the way you say your mom is, my mom has said similar things, and she's but I know some friends me to the point where I'm just like, are you serious? So
but I know some girls, some friends of mine, that their mom is their best friend. And like they tell their mom everything. More like
Gilmore's. Okay. Gotcha.
Like they're, you know, they're besties in a way that they're still parents, right? To the child, but they still have that transparency with each other. Our relationship is better, but only because we've had I remember when I was like 24, 25, 26, around that age, I had to sit down with my mom
Okay.
about everything. And we talked about everything.
That's good.
I was like, hey, do you remember this? Do you remember this? Da, 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 whatever. And I told her things that I went through that she probably wasn't even aware of. Like I told her, like I was molested as a child and like all these things. And I told her by who. And she was like, how come you never told me this? And she started crying, like all this stuff. And I think having those conversations with her, or like repeating to her the things that she would say to me, or like, you know, the things that I witnessed through my lens as a child between her and my dad, and how that affected me. I think it was important for her to hear it because she didn't realize. And I think it was important for me to see that she didn't realize how that affected me. And obviously, you know, like I know I wouldn't be here today if it wouldn't be for her, right? Her moving to another country, pulling the sacrifices that she did, I would not be here. So all of my accomplishments, and I told you this, are a reflection of her, right? Whether I wanted to admit it at one point or another or not, like it's because of her. And to a degree, my dad too, right? But I just remember having that conversation with her and her seeing me differently after that. And I think that was when she realized, oh, she's an adult. And she has, in reference to me, like she's pulled through things that have made her who she is. And now I understand where that anger came from before when I was a kid, or all of these things, because, and she said it herself, she's like, it wasn't fair to you to see these things or to go through that or to worry about our rent or bills as a kid. You should have just been focusing on school and friends and all these other things, right? And I think I needed that, like, to hear it from her, to like accept it, to then now we still bump heads, obviously, because she has her ways, I have my way. But we both acknowledge that we started over and we respect each other as individuals, but we love each other, even though it's still weird to say it. Like, we didn't say I love you to each other until my 20s. Like, that's unheard of, really, for like a mother and daughter that weren't separated, you know, that grew up in the same house. And I think with her, she understands that I am who I am. We're very different people, even though my brother says that we're the same, and that's why we don't get along. I do have similarities to her, and I see them. But the fact that she validated the things that I went through and that I saw and that I experienced helped me get through that anger that I was still holding on to, and that resentment that I was holding on to, and vice versa for her, because I apologize for being a brat and saying certain things to her as a teenager that just wasn't called for, but I didn't know any better, you know, but that doesn't change the fact that it was still hurtful. Right. And I apologized and she apologized. And here we are now where we talk every day, even if it's just for like a minute or two, but we'll talk on the phone. I'll send her pictures of the baby. And I always think about her. Like, I'll just tell her like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, okay, bye. Like, it's never going to be a long conversation, because usually there's like a timeline. If it goes longer than 5 minutes or so, she gets into the old habits, and then she'll start talking about like family drama that I don't want to hear.
So funny, because my sister, because she always watches these, she's going to be listening. She's going to be like, that's mom.
You got to keep it within a certain timeline. Because if not, you keep hearing the same stories, because she repeats herself a lot. Or you keep hearing, pero tú no sabes que tu tía, whatever, and que tu tío, whatever. And like, I'm like, I don't care. And then she gets upset because I verbally say, a mí no me importa.
Like my sister.
Ma.
She goes, I don't care. It's the same thing. She's like, why do I care?
Like,
and she gets mad because she's
a mí no
like,
me importa.
But I'm telling you.
Pero a ti no se te puede decir nada. Porque blah, 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 blah. Pues a ti no se te puede molestar. And then I'm like, oh yeah, no, I went over the limit. It's past 5 minutes. It was my fault. I should have cut off the conversation.
This joke, my sister's like, if you say their names 3 times like Beetlejuice, they just appear. Because it's like, we'll be talking about them and all of a sudden she's like, she's got a text message. Or why she called,
oh, your mom texts?
Or why she calls
That's cool.
me. Yeah, my mom and my dad both text. It's funny. Yeah.
Okay. My mom doesn't. If she does, it's by accident.
Oh, okay. So she's like Vic's mom, who doesn't text either. She doesn't even know how to use FaceTime or anything. So
it's very old school. Yeah. So we'll FaceTime my mom. That will do. But and that's the type of relationship we'll keep. And it does help that so I've been with Tom 6 years. We've moved 5 times, and we've always lived far. And I think that helps. But she's always at my brother's house because she helps them with the kids and all that stuff. And she's like, like I tell her, I was like, what if I need you to come over and help us one day or something? She's like, I would love to.
She doesn't complain about you guys being far?
Okay. Oh, yeah. But not, she used to, but it is what it is. Like,
I purposely moved far.
Like when we lived in California, she was like, pero qué tú haces allá tan lejos? Ven pa' acá, whatever. And, we moved back and stuff, but it was a dream of mine to move to California. It was a goal of mine where she wouldn't understand that. But to me, I felt like she should have, because it was her dream and her goal to live in the U.S., right? And come to the U.S. and do all these things. And she went everywhere. She went to Puerto Rico, Colombia, and like all these places in Latin America as a younger version of herself. She was very independent and successful. And then she met my dad, and then that happened. But I told her, I was like, I thought that these were things that you would look at like and be happy. She's like, no, I am happy for you. It's just, I just want you guys. And like, it's so hard for her to say, I miss you and I love you, that she's like, I just rather you guys closer. She'll like get around it, but I get it. And I'm like, yeah, we'll get back there eventually. But it is an interesting dynamic. She makes me laugh a lot just because she's so like, she's funny. She's funny with certain things that she says and does. And I think that's one thing that we'll always have. Like, we'll laugh and like she'll do her cackle and I'll like laugh with her about certain things, certain people, the craziness of the family and all of that. And then we'll laugh at the fact that she's crazy too in her own way, and so am I. And she'll like say like, you better not drive Tom crazy with your craziness or whatever, and like little things like that. And I'm like, well, he married me, so he knows exactly what kind of crazy he's committed to. But it's interesting. I know we'll never have that relationship where I can talk to her about like even postpartum depression or any of that stuff. I know I don't have that with her, but that's okay, because I have that outlet in other ways. And my relationship with her is what it is. And I think me accepting that has made it better. Me accepting the fact that this is the relationship we're going to have, and this is as good as it's going to get. I'm okay with that, because at least I have a relationship with her. I don't have a relationship with my dad, like, so at least I have this, and I can say it's a good one, like before we moved to California, I gave her my diploma, my college diploma. And I told her like, this is for you, because I want you to keep this. I want you to hold this. I don't want to take this with me. And I feel like you should hold this. This is because of all the things that you've gone through, that I finally got to even have this piece of paper. Obviously, yes, I know I did the work and I did all of that, but deep down, it was seeing my mom still push through, survive, make it work, go through cancer, go through being homeless, all of the stuff that I'm like, she's tough. And like, I look at her and I'm like, it breaks my heart to see her sad and depressed. And I know that she's sad and depressed. I want her to find her happiness, but I know that her happiness is her grandchildren and like her living through my brother and I. And that's really as good as it's going to get. And I don't know.
Said.
I had to be okay with that. But it takes, I guess, with all that, whatever friendship it is, whatever family member it is, it takes effort through both parties, but you both have to be okay with letting go of something that's irreparable, right? Is that a word? Irreparable?
I don't know. I will look it up
That's
afterwards.
a word. But you know what I mean? Something that, you know, if neither one of you, you're like, what is this? We're holding on to something in the past. We're holding on to something that it used to be. I think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah.
Kind of like before, like, yeah, it's one thing to communicate, but the other has to listen and to be open and receptive to it. But friendships after babies do change. And also our outlook as mothers to the world and other people around us changes too. Because we also have to be protective of that. If you have a friend that's like a party animal, that's doing drugs and drinking and this and that, are you going to have that person over your house all the time?
Nope.
With your kids? You know, and those are things that you have to consider, right? I don't know. Any other?
No, and I just wanted to say again, it's okay if you don't want to have friends.
If you don't want to have friends, then start a podcast.
I have a billion friends now. Anybody. Everybody listening.
But yeah, no. Invest in the people that you want to invest in, and take note of the people that invest in you that you might be neglecting or, you know, just taking for granted.
Yeah.
Because that also happens too. Because they may not always be there. And I think it's important to tell people while you have the chance how much they mean to you, that you care about them, that you love them, and all of that, because you just never know. Things change. But yeah, hopefully you guys get all that from this episode. But thank you for listening. And as Amy said, you mamas are doing a great job. Remember that. Even on the days where it feels like you're not, you are. And you're pushing through. And thank you all for listening. And let us know if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or if you want to tell me that that's not a real word that I just used, tell me. But thank you for the support, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.